Hi guys, Keith Arkberg Farms. It is the first week of June and it has finally stopped raining. I mean, it has rained for a week or two straight and then it dried out last weekend, but there was like 60-mile-per-hour winds out of the south the whole entire weekend, and then it stopped and it rained again, and it's just been a mess out here. But anyways, that's not what I'm going to talk about today. I finally got in, ooh, there's the sun. Finally got in the parts to make my new tractor, my very old new tractor, work on my 30-inch beds. So let me show you what we got here. So this is the problem, is the width in between the inside of the tire and the inside of the tire. I have 26-ish inches. I do everything on a 30-inch bed. So what I need to do is get these tires further apart. Unfortunately, it's got the turfies on it. Can't find the ag tires, but instead I found a solution. And here is the solution. I ordered, which these are actually custom made by a company that does this, wheel spacers. These are 3-inch spacers. So I'll put this on where the tire is, put the tire on here. It'll space the tire out 3 inches on each side, which will give me an extra 6 inches, which should put, there's the tractor right there, the center of the tread and the center of the tread right on 48 inches if I did my numbers right. Also, I haven't checked to see if these bad boys fit yet, which they're pretty slick looking actually. Ordered these online through a company called Bro-Tec. They look awesome. They had a fairly good idea of what I was talking about when I ordered them, so we'll see how well they fit. The biggest problem I had was getting them actually. I ordered these back, it's like February or March. It's June now, so it's been a while. I didn't realize that they're actually located out of Canada, so they had a little bit more strict COVID regulations going on up there. I do apologize to Richard and the guys up there because I kept giving them hell because, you know, I've done construction my whole life. I get the runaround all the time. Oh, we'll be there next week. 2 weeks later. Oh, we'll be there next week. Oh, a month later. Oh, you're the next one on the list. So I just kind of thought they were giving me the runaround. But anyways, this is what we got. Bolt in through here with the original bolts, and then the tires bolt on these. So we're going to go over to the tractor here and work on getting them on. Just to also show you what else the kit came with. Came with lug bolts. I've got some block washers. And the directions said something about using Loctite on it, but I honestly don't see anything. These are made out of high-grade billeted aluminum, and apparently they're also powder coated, which is pretty sweet. I did not expect this high of a quality of product. I just expected something to be about that thick, some studs sticking out, and some holes to put them in. So we'll go over, drop the wheel off that tractor over there, see what we can't do. Okay, I already broke these free. I've got the tractor up in the air, so I'm not going to bore you with the part. I'm going to pull these 4 lug bolts, because we got bolts in 4 of the locations, and then lug nuts in 2 of the locations. We will not reuse the bolts. We will, however, reuse the lug nuts. So I'm going to get those off there, and we'll go to the next step. So I got the wheel off and I went and followed the directions and did a test fit and made sure my spacer fit on the hub, which it did great. And then I test fitted on the wheel, which it did not quite fit perfectly. It's like 2 of the outside pins are just a little bit bigger, so like maybe not even a millimeter, like a quarter of a millimeter. So I really quickly just ground the inside of the holes where the lug bolts go through. So now I'm going to take this, and pretty simple, mounts right up on the wheel. I take my new lug nuts that came with the kit, and then I take 4 of my new lug bolts that came with the kit, and I'm going to install them. Suck this down. Supposed to do 150 pounds of torque. Do it half first, so do about 80 pounds of torque. Crisscross pattern, just like you would with regular tire, always going across, never in a circle. And then kick the torque wrench up to 150 pounds and do the rest. I can't find my torque wrench, so a foot-pound of torque, if I remember right, you go out 1 foot on the bar, you apply that many pounds on it, which will give that many pounds of torque, if I remember right. So 150 pounds, I'm about 160, so I think if I just put my body weight on it, that should just about do it. I will go back through later and re-torque these to the correct specifications, but for now, I just want to get them on there and see what they look like. So here we go. Okay, so I got this mounted back up. New bolts, new lugs all the way around, because I've got the 2 lug nuts, the studs that come out, there we go, to line up the tire when you put it back on. Fit perfectly. The one thing is that I was spinning the other wheel over there because I put the tractor in 4th gear to try to put as much tension on the motor as possible. Had to lower the jack a little bit to get it from kicking, and then I used my full body weight, went around 2 or 3 times. Well, I hand tightened, then I applied force to get it actually seated, and then I went through and cranked it, and then I went back through again and cranked it. Again, I went in a star pattern. I went across, and then back down next to it, across, back down next to it, and across. And I repeated that 3 or 4 different times there. So now I'm going to jack the tractor back up enough to get this baby back on here. I think actually the problem is I can kind of see it. It looks like when they seated these studs in here, this one and this one are just slightly like out just a hair. And I think that's what's actually holding up on the tire. I did notice if I put it in the right way, it fit better. And that's just from the manufacturing of the rim itself. But either way, it fits like a glove. And it makes me super happy. So I'm gonna get this tire back on here and repeat. So big tires are always fun to work with. I used to work at a tire place years ago. The best way to move a big tire is you latch onto it, put your knees on it, and you just kind of hold in and roll with it. You're just moving your butt down to move the tire up. You're not trying to pick up the tire, it just kind of pivots on you. But I got it on there, and that worked amazingly well. So now I've got studs from these spacers sticking out all the way around. What I need to do is I use my 2 lug bolts that came off originally. I use the lock washers that came off with them, and then I use the other 4 lug bolts that came with it, and they're lock washers, but I turn them, see these are tapered nuts, I'll turn them over backwards and use the flat side and the lock washer and take that and go directly onto the rim itself. The reason for that is because these tires, or these rims, do not have a bevel on them. They are just standard old school flat on flat. The original lug nut looks like that. The new ones look like this. So if I had a tapered rim, I'd put the tapered side on. Since I don't, I'm going to use the flat side. That's where the lock washer comes in handy, that it never will release that way. Because once them bad boys are tightened down, they are not going anywhere. So I'm gonna go through and do the same exact thing, kind of give it a nudge every now and then. I'm just trying to get the hand tight starting. I'll do hand tight. I will do just enough to kind of seat them, and then I'll drop the tires back down and do my final torque on it. That way I can ensure I get a good torque and I'm not spinning the tire or the other tire over there. Pretty simple, so we'll get to it and time lapse it. Okay, now that is a thing of beauty. Let me get you out of here. We're sitting on top of my handy dandy farm tractor slash cart slash lawnmower thingamajigger. And here we are. So I'll turn you around. And there is what it looks like. Originally the wheel was on the hub. Now it's spaced out by 3 inches. Pretty simple. We'll come around back real quick and take a look. So this is what it looks like underneath the fender that has one on it, and this is what it looks like with the fender that does not have one on it. You can definitely see how much closer that is inside. We got the fender there, and we're on the very back outside of the tire, and we've got the fender here lined up on it, and we're actually towards the inside of the tire, which is awesome. So with just one wheel spacer on here, we're now out to 43 inches from center to center of the tire. We have almost 30 inches in between the two wheels. We'll get 3 more. We're at about 29-ish. So that'll kick us at least 32. So that gives us a little bit of wiggle room, only 1 inch per side. But that should put the tires on 36 inches on center, which is just about perfect for our 48-inch bed setup. I'm gonna go have supper here because it's getting late. As you can see, the sun is almost straight down in my face right now. But after that, I'm gonna go get the other tire on and drive off, hopefully into the sunset. Okay, so there we have it. Now, it's got a much wider stance look behind it. Again, because there's no adjustment on these tires because there's the damn turfies, that I had to go through and buy the wheel spacer for them. So I went from barely 27 inches in between treads to about 32-ish, 33, somewhere in there. I'll gain a little bit more because the tires are concave out, so I'll only be riding on this part. But the centers are now on 46, which is almost the center of all my beds on this market garden, which is 48, which is freaking perfect. I love it. I'm gonna go see how muddy it is out there and just go and drive out over a bed just so we can see it, because that's the whole reason I did all this. Sun's getting ready to go down here in a second, as you can see behind me, so we'll get to it. Okay, so there we go. Look at that. Stands right over the bed perfectly. There's actually a bed of daikons and failed watermelon rashes, by the way. Don't grow those in spring. That I just cropped out today and harvested the rest of the daikons, but no, that looks perfect. That's exactly what I've been looking for, and my whole intention and plans for this tractor when I actually got this tractor. The front wheels, believe it or not, are actually spaced this far apart to begin with, which is kind of strange that the back wheels weren't. But then again, this tractor also originally was supposed to have ag tires on it, because the sticker on front actually has the ag tires and their speed related to it on it. So I don't know what to believe on the speedometer, but that's a whole different story. But I'd like to thank Richard and all the people down there at Bro-Tec. I mean, yeah, it took a little while, but thank you so much. They are the perfect fit for this tractor. They were not listed on their website. They do all kinds of stuff. It's actually what they do is they make wheel spacers and other specialized equipment for tractors and loaders. So again, thank you guys at Bro-Tec. Could not have done this without you. It is freaking awesome. I love it. I can't wait to get on here and get my Wonder Bar and my other implements out there to where I can go out in the big field and play around, because that's what this is truly made for, is going out on these acre blocks and these 450-foot runs and cultivating mechanically with them. The market garden up here, this can be done by hand. It's a lot cooler when you do it with something like this and a lot easier, but the big deal farming is where this is really, really, really meant to go, and why I purchased a tractor in the first place. So, hope you all like what we saw today. Also, don't forget to go to arkenburgfarms.com, scroll down the bottom, got a bunch of spreadsheets, a bunch of cool stuff down there. There's free ones, there's ones you purchase, there's all kinds of cool stuff, pounds per acre calculators, all the cool stuff I do on the farm, some builds, you know, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff. So, like I said, hope y'all like what we saw today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all, have a good day.